how does this correlate to your own story? So content planning is not just, I think that this is a great time to content plan because it's January. Content planning is about really thinking about your own hero journey and what are you taking somebody through. But also at the same time, it's thinking about what are people experiencing at this time. I find too often that coaches, we go to the next place of, adrenal fatigue before connecting the dots. So I want to actually have you take a step back. And before we even get into tonight, I want you to think about 20 years ago, 30 years ago, or even where some of your friends are these days. Are they at this place of advanced knowledge, or are they just saying things like, I don't feel well, or I feel sick, or everything I eat hurts my stomach? So I want you actually to write down, what do you want to be known for? What do you want to be known for this year? What calls to you? What really feels in your soul? Because I've talked to coaches, so many of you who say, started my business in 2014. I didn't get anywhere. This is my year. So when you say this is my year, I want you to really think about what was important. What was important to you when you first entered school? For me, it was talking about our kids and like early intervention and the foods that they need to eat because they have allergies, and talking a lot about the symptoms that it looks like when you have an autoimmune. Because if I would have known those, I would have been able to take action as even a younger teenager. I would have been given the tools. So think about, what tools are you trying to share with people? And also take inventory, because content planning, the other side of content planning is really like your strategy for the year. What have you also not been doing? So on the strength side, what are you doing great? But on the opposite side, where are your weaknesses? Is it that you're not showing up enough and telling your story? Do you feel that people don't know enough about you? Are you not getting those personal messages saying, wow, thank you so much for sharing today? Or if you're working offline, are you just saying that you're going to approach this gym or this health food store in the third week, but you never get there? Content planning gives you deadlines. It gives you a plan so that you come out of overwhelm. So content brings new people into your orbit. So when I want you to think about content, whether it's hormones, gut, weight loss, cleansing and detox, they all seem to have similar symptoms. So number 1, skin issues. Number 2, gut issues. 3, constipation, loose stool. Do you have any to add?
Skin, you said skin? Skin was mine. Yeah, gut.
Also like foggy brain, just also like lower stomach ache. I think about also like clogged ears. I think about also rashes and hives and histamine reactions and allergies. These are all overlapping. People don't come to us for the solutions. So for you, those of you that focus on mindset, start thinking about what, and start talking about in this month, what will you lose in your life if you don't make this change? And share, I made this change because I struggled with, or I help people to make this change because I witnessed. Health and wellness branding is a lot about what? Building what I call the T factor, trust. So when you're thinking about your content, it's not just sharing a quote. It's not just taking them into a funnel. It's bringing them into that funnel, leading them to a one-on-one call with you, or having a video there sharing, this was my story. I'm so glad you downloaded this free gift. And this is what I want you to know about me. And if you're struggling in the following areas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, contact me for a one-on-one. So it's taking a systematic approach and getting organized. I always love to pull up, whether it's a whiteboard over there, or we have a calendar, or I personally use Teamwork. Many of you could use Teamwork. You could use Asana. You can use many different, or even Trello, to organize your month. So you want to think, okay, January, what are people dealing with? They come off the stress of the holidays. They wanted to commit, and Scott and I were just talking about this, they want to commit to their New Year's resolution, but maybe they missed the boat because they have kids at home.
Or it could change slightly. New Year's Eve you make it, and then the next day, it's a little bit different.
So you don't go to the gym, so you don't do the thing. So when people say, oh my God, I've got to launch, take it easy. It's okay. Not every launch has to be like in the beginning of January. Think about how amazing your launch could be, online or offline. This is for both. Many of you, and this is what you have to decide, are you better online or offline? If you're online, the key component is a clear message, a clear solution, and the clear problems that you had that you are solving for others. And a call to action, because you're what? You're list building. How are you going to sell a program or have people come to a webinar or do a workshop or a masterclass online if you don't have a list? Offline, this is your time to go and approach fitness studios. This is your time to approach health food stores, salons, even people that are not in the health and wellness industry, and say,
well, that's what you did. You went to the Salt Suite, the juice store, the juice shop, and the gym, and anywhere you get your foot in the door.
Anywhere I could put. Scott remembers I made these flyers with the little old school, like,
pull the tab off,
babysitter tab off, like best cleaning person.
Guitar lesson, pull one.
Anywhere that it had, and this was even in coffee shops. This was even in main coffee shops. I would put it up and say, if you want a free health consult, on the following issues. Because as coaches, we don't actually know where our clients or why our clients are coming to us. So in this month and in every other 11 months after this, the key questions are, do I know what my people want? Most often, if you're a new coach, we don't. So you have to think of, what are the general issues? What are the general symptoms for thyroid? I hear people trying to sell a thyroid program, and yet they've never talked about cold hands and cold feet. Is your hair falling out? Is your sex drive not good? All those things that people with thyroid, are you gaining weight unexpectedly? Are you not able to gain weight or not able to sleep? Such a huge thing. But I seem to never see that. So why would I buy? Why would I follow your story? It's not just about a quote. Take them through a week. Think about 1 week. That's what we just did in our membership. We actually gave everyone who is in our January membership 7 days of done for you plug and play social media with pictures. Because I've realized I felt as overwhelmed by all the moving parts of a business as you guys feel. And at every time you're up leveling, you're going to feel that overwhelm, that kind of uncomfortability and that fear. That's just growth. So don't quit, but get really clear and sit down even with friends and say, what are our biggest struggles? We use a lot of these health coach words that overwhelm people, and they're not even there yet. They haven't even gotten over the sad American diet. So get systematic, which really means strategic. What are you trying to sell this month? Or is the goal list building? If it's list building and getting discovery sessions and knowing your conversions, I hear everyone say, I want to make 5,000, 10,000 a month. I always say, how are you going to get there? Is it discovery sessions? How are you getting people to your lead magnets? Where are list building? Are you doing workshops? Remember, I would come on with 30 people signed up, for the free gift I was giving. And that free gift always led to, I would really love to hire you. So it's not enough to simply send out material. And I hear this all the time. Why are people not landing on my website? Well, they're not landing on your website because That's not how it works. It works because you give great content. You show up in the place that you feel the people that are in your avatar and your niche show up. Sometimes we know that. Sometimes we actually spend hours of wasted time on something like Instagram, although I love, but it's not the best for conversions unless you're using stories or you're just changing the clickable. So really think in this year, as we're going into a year of simplicity, because tons of people have quit because it feels too much to run a business. Think about, what am I teaching and why? What does this solve? Who does this help? And are there different buyer avatars? Which means, do you have a person who would love to sign up for one-on-one? What about the person who wants to do a group or is like me, pessimistic? Would only do a single session to see if we're a good match.
Test
Test it out. Test drive it. So decide what you want to be known for. This is the biggest thing. Decide like a handful of topics. Just because it's weight loss doesn't mean that you can't talk about what? The woman who's Googling thyroid. I'm not a hormone expert. That's why I hire to work with me people to help me write the hormone stuff, because I'm not an expert in that. That wasn't what called me. But when it comes to gut, that person is probably also looking for thyroid or weight gain. I can't tell you how many people, because I specialize in gut, they would contact me for weight loss. And I thought, this is nowhere on my site. But in year 3, when I was only making $27,000 in year 2, and I was paying for 2 kids at Montessori.
Yeah, all of it.
It wasn't good.
Montessori was good.
Montessori was great, but it wasn't good on the paycheck. I either was going to quit, and if you're seeing this right now and you feel like you're going to quit, just drop quit in the comments, and we'll be on Facebook in a few minutes to check that out. But you want to think about, what are people searching for, and what are the topics that are in relation to the issue that they're having. So if it's gut, is it skin? Is it hormones? Is it weight? Because as you see, they all interchange. It's just, what is your main focus? People would always say to me, how do you work with kids with autism and spectrum related? I said, because I talked about heavy metals and early intervention. You didn't see that on my site. I still stayed polarized and niche down. Gut, detox, and losing weight in a completely different way. Because what I realized, and my belief, is that weight was a product of yeast and fungus and metabolism and mitochondria and energy issues. So I approached it in a completely different way, which set me apart. So when you think about this month, now write down, what sets you apart? And if you don't know, drop in the comments, I don't know what sets me apart. I guarantee if I was on the phone with you for 10 minutes, we would nail it down, just like I did today in a one-on-one session. How is this person different from the rest? How do you vocalize what you want without just putting a quote of the day? What is it that is in your daily life? So write down the topics that you're going to consistently talk about, 5 of them. 5 that you're going to consistently hammer down and show a hero journey. Because those topics are going to lead somebody to say, wow, this person, they're giving really high quality content. I'm going to message them, or I'm going to check out their website. Things don't just happen overnight. It's one thing maybe if you do a webinar and it's really a great sales conversion webinar, but I would say most things happen over time of you building trust.
A lot of trust. You started with newsletter, blog, video. It's a process.
It's a process, and don't think that it has to be overwhelming, because what I want you to think about first right now is, even, what are these topics you're going to talk about 4 weeks in this month? I want you to name a topic for each week. It's really simple. We were thinking New Year's, it would be like getting off sugar, keeping to your goals. Maybe even one is like, how to really set yourself up for, an amazing winter and boost your immune. Things that people are thinking about, because that's what life is happening.
New Year's is improvement. Starting the new year to improve yourself, to get better, to be your best you. Start the list.
Then make categories. So for those of you that kind of dip into, like, autoimmune is a perfect example. I worked with those with autoimmune. There's layers. It may be sugar. It may be leaky gut. It may be, hormones. There may be layers for each of you. And so when I talked to a coach the other day who's a phenomenal, has great amount of likes on IG, and has beautiful content, beautiful pictures. We talked about not just being a plant-based coach, but what does she stand for? So I want you to think, in even these 4 weeks, break it down to just 4 to keep it simple. What do you want people to know you for? What are you talking about? What are the workshops that relate to these areas that you feel are so important? So what are these categories? And the subcategories, like the categories for me were detox, gut, and weight loss. What were the subcategories? There's so much, because we are not books. We are people. And each one of us, based on who we are. I know when I did moms groups, I didn't get so deep into detox because these moms just had babies. But then as I worked with them year 2 and year 3, hormones started going amok, autoimmune stuff was coming up, kids were having allergies. Those were subcategories of things that I could talk about. And that's why every year they would say, Rachel, we're not stopping, we're going. And they then moved into, we're cooking at your house, we want you to go a shopping tour with us. So think about how you can expand your business in ways that really not only feed your client, but really feed your soul as well. Make you happy for doing this. Then narrow it down. As I say in IG, 4 polarizing topics that define who you are. So narrow your list down to like 3 topics. Within those 3 topics, there's probably 50 to 100 different subjects. Because I even asked in this group the other day, give me blog topics. And one person sent me 50 just on hormones.
Wow. That's huge.
So say thanks to Janice.
Thanks, Janice.
So think about, sit there and brainstorm. This is where content planning, it's not just, I'm going to have some of your take. It's not just sitting down with a calendar. It's actually taking the time and carving out like 1 to 2 hours. So you can take a significant other, a partner, a best friend, a virtual assistant, a buddy in this group, and say, let's like mirror back to each other. I'm going to talk and you write, because so often we just get overwhelmed when we sit at the computer, when we sit at the calendar. And that's why I always suggest, I will just show over again, I always suggest a whiteboard, because you get into that creative flow where you just feel like you're sketching it out. So nail down those topics and those subtopics. 10 of those subtopics is, guess what? That's like 30 days of social media. Because what you're doing is you're really bringing somebody through that journey. Hey, when I got off sugar, it was like this. I felt like I was going to die. Remember? We did a sugar detox that literally our 3rd day.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
And there was one point where we were lying on the floor and we were like, oh my God, I think I'm dying. So talk about how that feels, what that looks like. Tell the story. That's what social media is about. And if you're working offline, really make sure that you're not just doing a sugar blues workshop, guys. We're in a different age. We're in the age of Google. We're in the age of Dr. Oz and the doctor's panel. People are really educated. So make it so that it's 3 takeaways that they would love, that really separates you. Is it sugar and maybe giving them a strategy, for how to get off sugar? What are your favorite, substitutes for that? How do you deal with a massive sugar craving? How do you emotionally deal with a massive sugar craving? Then make a list of the topics you've written about in the past and you like writing about. This is what we call repurpose. And the repurpose, just take it, Mom.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's our dog, Esther.
Oh.
She hates to be alone. Think about what you've done in the past. Facebook nor IG, especially IG, does not like when you repost an old post. But think about things that you can tweak. I have a coach who is one of my moderators who says, my whole editorial content calendar comes off your blog package. And she bought it and she was like, this for me is a lifesaver because there's a topic and I can always relate it back. So her niche is sugar and women of faith and trying, helping women of faith to get off sugar, live their deepest truth, everything. And so she takes the blog topics. She makes it a blog. She makes that a newsletter. She makes a video. She does a live. And I know that sounds like a lot, but think actually if you took one blog, added in a recipe in your story, 45 minutes. The next day, you did a live on that blog. And when you did that live, you were able, or a video for those of you working more in the offline because you're like, I am not going live. Think about how you could take that video and then put that into the blog or send that out in a newsletter. People get to know you. Or even when you have a lead magnet and somebody enters a lead magnet, on the thank you page is a video of you talking about how collagen helped, or how when you added spirulina, it really cut your cravings, or when you started using raw cacao, or when you just gave up XYZ. Bring people into your life. And health and wellness branding, they're buying your life. Of course, they're buying the solution. They're searching for the problem, then they're buying the solution. But they fall in love with you compared to somebody else because you've shared something where they identify. That's what great content is about.
Making the connection.
Making the connection. And that's the same face-to-face. Can you
online, offline? Can
you have a great talk with somebody? Do you feel confident in can you say in 3 sentences what you do without having somebody go, what's that about? It's making the connection. So don't fall prey to just the BS that we all have where it's like, buy this, you will get this. Buy this, you'll make X amount of money. The money that you're going to make solely depends on you showing up. You can have the best funnel, have the best webinar. You could pay somebody $5,000 to have, created an entire funnel that leads to a challenge, to a webinar on this. But if you can't show up for the show and believe in what you are talking about with conviction, they're going to go to the next person. So narrow down your list and think about what are the topics that relate to what you want to teach. 4 weeks. Make it 4 weeks and be consistent. 9 to 5 job, you show up 9 to 5. A business, you show up what, honey?
Every day, nonstop.
24/7.
Yes. We like talking about programs. You know what we do? We discuss putting programs together.
So
for fun, not for work. For fun.
So narrow down your list so that it's most interesting to you, it most aligns with you. You can speak with conviction. When people say to me all the time, how fast where they would say like, how fast will my gut get better? I would say, well, you can listen to the marketing BS of 6 months, but you're telling me these problems have been going on since you've been like 7. So this was not just like last year when you had a stressful time. This is going to be layers. So you can either believe me because I've been there, or you can go fall for the marketing stuff. It's cool. Do it because you're going to come back to me. And you have to believe it that much. Because for those of you that either experienced it, you do believe it because you've gone to hell and back. Own that. Don't be scared. You're not like, oh, well, I haven't completed my autoimmune journey. That's BS. Nobody does. You learn to dance with it. And for those of you who've witnessed, or you're angry at the system because school lunches are for crap, or you're angry at something else, take that anger and put it into fuel of, hey, let's talk about sugar. Fed Up was an amazing movie. If you need to get inspiration, I always say to people, watch it. If you're angry at something else, that everything is a one quick fix, talk about it, but talk about it with a solution.
Make it better. Best
reflect on natural strength and your expertise. I will say this again. Some of you want to be online coaches because, of course, we're like, wow, passive income, or it's easy to show up online, or I'm not driving to my clients. But I will tell you, the foundation of my business was driving to clients, was meeting people locally and building my confidence by doing that one-to-one, pantry, makeovers, shopping tours, VIP days, collaborating with local networking places who would ask me, hey, will you do a talk? So think about really where your strength and weakness is. If your weakness is tech, look at the online world and say, well, I'm going to keep it really easy and use Eventbrite. I'm going to keep it really easy and send people just a Dropbox, or look at Teachable, something that is easy. Don't fall prey to all the technological stuff, because what is that going to do? It's going to cost you money. So when you're thinking about your content planning, it's not just your content, it's actually your business, the outpour of money and what you're making. And then you want to think always about, how does this social media post, where am I leading them? So a funnel isn't just a funnel with emails and everything. It's a date. It's like the first date, the second, the third, the fourth, and sometimes it takes a fifth, sixth, and seventh. It's where you want them to go. So think about that social media post. At the end of it, say, here, if you really love this post, click here. That's your lead magnet. What does the welcome email say to them? Same thing at a workshop. I used to say at the end, if you really love this, come and talk to me about one-on-one and programs and challenges I do. Think always about how this is relating to your services or product. If not, I'm going to say this harsh, but I say this all the time. If you have not nailed this part, or if you're not willing to nail this part, and you keep going for the next certification because it's easier to do that, I'm not saying that learning isn't difficult and time consuming, but then go work in Whole Foods or go work in Walmart in the organic section. Like, stop wasting money. Take time, sit down for 2 hours this week, like tomorrow or tonight, and plan and think, what do I want to be known for? What am I known for? Do I even know? And if the question is, I don't know, that's where you have to reach out for help. And then if you do know, think, where is this leading? And be really clear on your bandwidth. Some of us are just launchers by nature. We love launching. That's me. Some people feel exhausted by it. So think about, what is the balance? How often can you launch? Is a membership maybe a good, option? And don't just go for like the diamond membership. Start in a Facebook unit section. Keep it simple. See if it works. Beta test that shit. Right, honey?
Definitely.
Organize your existing content. Take advantage of the content you already have by updating it, reworking, or repurposing. If something's not working, guys, it most often, and I'm not saying this just about my programs because I know people buy from all over, the message is not clear on why somebody needs to journey with you. That's it. Because when I hear people say, oh, people aren't going for my gut program, and then I see a girl in my paid forum for people who buy programs, who bought the gut program 7 days ago and got 46 signups already, then I know what she did without even looking at her stuff, although I did. She constantly shared about that. So if you're not sharing on a daily basis about solutions, or you're not saying, for example, this is not probiotics, but you're not saying this is my favorite probiotic, This is why I use it. And next month, I'm going to share with you the probiotic, that I rotate, because those with autoimmune should always rotate their probiotics. If I then am talking the next day about something completely different, it should still stay in what we go back to those 3 polarizing topics. Bring people to the solution. Get known. Show them how to make a lemon water elixir.
Show them the way.
Show them how to juice celery.
Juicing celery sounds tougher than it is. It's specific.
Show them what you do that saves you time and your hacks. Because people want what? They don't want to get sick. They don't want to die of a disease. They don't want to die of the disease that their family members have died of. They don't want to have high blood sugar. They don't want to feel foggy. They want energy. They want to lose weight. They want great skin.
They want to live the best life.
So organizing your existing material into categories. What I do is I love to do this actually in teamwork. You could do this on a Google Doc. Could also do this in Dropbox. I feel like Dropbox, some people hate it. I love it. To me, it's a mind map. So.
Love it. That's
Scotty's starting. So this is one of his first. Give the boy a break.
I'm going to be offline.
So in Dropbox, what I like to do is I'll do 12 months. And I will name the folder 12 months, 2019. Go in and put in January. Most of you have programs from me. You've never even touched the freebie. Raise your hand and never touched the freebie, and drop it in Facebook. Most of you have programs from me where you've never even done a workshop, and there's workshops or webinars in there, or you've never done a webinar because you're like, I'm nervous. I was nervous too. Guess what? I practiced 3 times. I was like screaming to him, crap, I didn't record it. I would call, Zoom and be like, I didn't record this. They would find it for me. We all have bloopers and nobody talks about them. So don't think you're alone. You're not. The best thing that I have done was to take my content and organize it. A blog a week, a video or a live, and then, your newsletter. For some of you, it's twice a month because you're new coaches. For some of you, maybe you're like me and you're like, well, I'll email twice a month because I don't want to bombard people. So just make the plan. Organize it first. Do for most of us who need to be in the creative zone because it gets overwhelming to content map. Build it out and then go back. And then say, okay, this is on this day, and time block it. Hun, you remember when I used to wake up like 2 hours before the kids?
Yes, it was a creative time.
But it was necessary.
Yes.
And so, especially for 9 to 5ers, your mornings are probably crazy. You're going to have to ask for help on the weekends. And if you want to make this successful so you can be consistent, you're going to have to spend some time when you get home or before you go to work on one day and batch social media. Or you're going to have to say, okay, I'm going to still do my blogs. I'm going to do social media to have a presence, but I'm going to work offline. And you might have to sacrifice, as I did, Sundays for 3 years. Because,
when is a weekend?
Because I really wanted to help people. And so, when you follow with that and you really think about how are you organizing and who do you want to help and why do you want to help them, that will override the fear at any time. So especially for you 9 to 5ers who have limited time, think for people who have limited time, what hacks can you give them? Whether it's moms, whether it's corporate, anything that you feel you've nailed down and you want to share and scream from the rooftops. So take inventory of everything you have online. And does this really reflect your 3 topics? And if it doesn't, swap some words out. A coach asked me the other day when I was driving to get my New Year's colonic. She said, I buy your blog content and I want to buy your newsletter. How much for SEO do I have to swap this out? I said to her, say this all the time, add in your story. That should take about, a paragraph. Add in a great recipe. That's wonderful for search engine optimization. And change the title name. And you're good. So think about, what you have and what you're not using because you haven't time blocked it. And that's really what it comes down to. Everyone's busy. If it's not on the calendar, you're not going to do it. I carve out, and I did all the time, even when the babies were little, and I had Sammy for, the good part of the day. I time blocked that hour where I knew the kids were quiet in the morning. And that was either to build a lead magnet or to do social media for 7 days. It was to utilize what I had without needing to feel like I needed to constantly, spend more and spend more. There weren't done for you stuff at that time though. I was creating it, but it still forced me to repurpose, reuse, go into recipe guides, pull recipes, and make a little video on it. Doesn't have to be complicated, but you have to do what? Show up. Next steps, organize the content on your computer in a few key categories. As we said, I like Dropbox, Teamwork, Basecamp. You can have, I think, for free for one notebook, and just get organized. Create subcategories, as we talked about. Look for any content you have on the web and add to your folders. Look for any content you have on your desktop or that you've never even downloaded from the membership that we have. Or just like I've talked to 20 coaches in the last 2 weeks, get super clear. Get on the damn phone with me. I say it all the time. Here's my number. Get on the phone with me and say, look, I'm ready to up level, or I feel stuck at this point. What would be a great? We'll talk it out. We'll get super clear, because the biggest problem that entrepreneurs have, all entrepreneurs, is that's why you do talking with other people, so that you hear yourself, you say it, and then you problem solve right away without sitting in the problem for 6 months and wondering why you don't have a business. Also, this is a big one. Remove any content that you have from your website, such as extra programs that take away, or programs that seem like they're doubling up. More does not give you authority. Be succinct, be clear. Build out your one-on-one to show value and difference between a single session, a month with you, or 3 months, or a month, 3 and 6, whatever your strategy is and whatever feels in alignment with you. But if you have all these programs on your site, it gets confusing. Too many, they always say one call to action. That's confusing for people to know what to do. So make it succinct. Take inventory. If you feel like you're not ready to launch, or launch your website, or get in front of people, take inventory and then do it. You're only going to do it and get comfortable by showing up.
Hello. Plan
your content goal and prioritize. So define your content goals. Is it lead generation or is it sales? And so, for example, those who try to launch in March, I don't know who you're listening to, because that's tax season and that's spring break. I launch programs in March because I want you to have them for April. But really look at 1 month at a time, 4 weeks, and then think about the next month. But try, if you can, and this is what we do in our membership, 90 days. Look at 90 days. What's happening in the world? February, I love relaunching, or even doing, a program about bring a friend for free because this is the month of love. It's Valentine's Day, or a, post chocolate Valentine's Day, get the weight off. But think about it so you don't feel like you're scrambling when you're about to launch, or if you're launching your business for the first time, that you come out with a really clear message. And you don't have to then spend time, redesigning a website, signing up for things that you don't need. So think about it. Is this month a sales month, or is it lead generation? And that sales month, just to give you an example, say you wanted to do on the 4th week, because I love like cooking classes, and I love a lot of like online, offline classes, but I also have tons of clients who do master classes. You could do a workshop, a cooking workshop on batch cooking for like crazy busy people, and get 10 people in your kitchen and make 350. You could do a shopping tour with a program, which I did 20,000 times over, and you could have 10 people at 77, that's $770. So when you're looking at what you buy, you want to think, how can I use this in my one-on-one? And how can I use this in 5 ways? Because if you're not doing that, you're doing a disservice to yourself, but you're also leaving money on the table for your different buyers. Like I said, somebody may not want to go and do a group program with you. They may want to, meet you face to face. They may need that. So think about the content that best achieves the goals for what you need, and plan it. Because if you plan it, you also get what? Your buyers or people buying used to, oh wow, on the 3rd week of every month, she does this awesome like make and take class for essential oils. Or, oh my God, there's this awesome shopping tour and she gives us a program and we literally shop there and then we have like a talk. I did that as well. Think outside the box. Do not do yourself a disservice by just following one person's mode of operation, because that mode of operation is a great blueprint, but it may not be the right blueprint for you. I 100% believe that I attained the financial goals I attained because I had different services that fit different people. And I also did a lot of free talks, and that built authority, and that gave me the confidence to also come and, be online. I share a lot of what I call stable videos on YouTube, to build authority, but to get my name out there at a time where I wasn't able to go to networking events when the kids were just so little. So make your goals for the month. Think about what is, when we say cornerstone content, like, do you have something this month that you really are featuring? Bring everything back to that, or a reason why somebody should come to that. You don't want it to be just like sale, 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 but you want to tell a story. Why do you need to come to this workshop where I'm telling like the 8 ways to boost your immune? And I'm giving like content that no one has ever given before. So then have it leading up, talk about leaky gut, talk about hormones, talk about headaches, talk about all the things that derive from leaky gut, autoimmune. You want to add anything?
You're doing great. No.
Skin issues. I mean, anything. Kids' colds, everything. So
seasonal changes, you got to respond to those.
Yep. I mean, make it so that your cornerstone content, that could even be, a do-it-yourself program. That's mailbox money. So when people think it just has to be network marketing, it doesn't. A do-it-yourself program, a do-it-yourself course, and think about like, how does everything come back to that? So you're not spinning your wheels constantly in creation. So next 3 months, theme of each month. It's when you look at this one slide, I really feel like this says it all. Like, what is the theme for each month? Choose the 5 pieces of content that show you at your best and do the most. So that could be like, wow, this blog is sick, or this program's sick. Let me talk about this. Let me really lead up on the pre-buzz before I launch. That could be a newsletter. That could be a series of newsletters telling a story, case studies, testimonials, interview clients on a live. I mean, step out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to. And if anyone tells you that, this world can just be one automation, it's not true, because people are not automated. Even my automation specialist, she and I were talking today, and she's like, I always tell people, even with the best funnel, to bring somebody to the one-on-one. Get somebody on the phone. Scott has heard me multiple times talking to people on the phone. They'll say, well, I think I should do this. And I say right away, tell me your story. Like, tell me why you think this would be right for you and your clients. And we end up with a totally different program. And they're like, I am so thankful I talked to you, because I'm clear on what I need to do. Decide whether your other content fits into your overall strategy. Many of you have multiple certifications, from fitness to yoga to your aromatherapist or functional medicine practitioners. Like, bring that in. And don't just, and bring it in because it's such a high value. Talk about, you know, I come from a very spiritual side, or yoga is really helpful for me, you know, and I bring this into the program that I have, or this do-it-yourself, you know, class that you can join. Think about those ways that are just, they're different and they specialize you. They make you, I won't even want to say the word expert, they make you special and different. And when you're different and you set yourself apart from the rest, people hire you. Define your content goals. So we talked about this, like lead generation. So I go back on one. I think I did, sorry. Decide what frequency you'll publish. Too much, and I found this, I used to do like that 3 rule of social media. I find that a morning post and an evening post is awesome. Some people do a morning and a lunch. I think the biggest thing for me was my social media post. Every one of them led to lead magnet. And we were just talking right before this, like I built my list to 7,000 organically with no paid ads, because every social media post led to a lead magnet. Everything was about understanding, helping somebody to understand that I could provide a solution. And it wasn't just the same. I was like, here's this worksheet. Here's the 5 recipes that help my gut. Here are the best, you know, products I use for, you know, skin, or whatever that was a topic that I knew was of interest. Batch and single sittings, sit down, just get into the flow. And if you need to hire a babysitter, it's worth it. If you can't afford a babysitter, ask a loved one. Like in the beginning of building my practice, I made sacrifices. You know, I didn't do things to pay for other things. And that would maybe be a virtual assistant because I didn't know how to do anything. So think about carving out 1 to 2 hours on Friday to plan, and then carve out 1 to 2 hours, you know, each week to implement specific calls to action, list building versus sales. And that is going to, of course, get increased if you're launching. But still, it doesn't have to be so much. My launches in the beginning were Eventbrite or a sales page on WordPress to a welcome email with the content. And then I would, you know, I even did some of the daily support emails in a Facebook forum. You can simplify what you're doing. People want more of interaction in you than they do want to be getting an email. For some people, they love getting those emails. But know your tribe, or know your personality. Do you love getting them? Do you open them past day 5? Or do you just go, okay, I'm good. I've gotten what I need to get. Update your old content, focus on quality, and stay focused on your area of expertise. You know, think about the pain. Connecting the dots is key. I hear so many coaches say words that only a health coach would know, or they haven't really connected the dots for somebody who is in that mystery illness, or they just feel off, or they feel tired, or they feel sick, or they're gaining weight for no reason. Connect the dots, help them understand what could be some of the problems, what's at the root cause, and then bring them to your one-on-one or group. Like I said, in the beginning, map it out with a Dropbox, then bring it over to a calendar. I think that's the easiest way. And also know how your brain works. Some people work great in Excel spreadsheets. Some people have to do it on a whiteboard. I love the whiteboard. Some people do it on a Word doc, but I would say look at it daily. So that's why I do prefer a whiteboard, but make sure it's on a task calendar. So, or do it on your Outlook calendar, your Google calendar, task it, otherwise it won't get done. So what are some hot topics in the new year? Gotta put on my glasses for this one. Okay, New Year's resolutions. How to create better resolutions. And I would even spin it like what didn't work for me, or what used to not work for me, or my client had this experience. And then like the anti-resolutions, which are like the things that, like, you know, we want to just throw away. Like, what are the things that didn't serve you? Make that a topic. Sharing about, like, what have you done? What did you do this year to kind of like get yourself right? Goal setting and achievement, finding your why. Like, why do you want to get in shape? Why do you want to, you know, why is it that's driving you? And really go into that. Could be a whole live, that could be a whole video, that could be a blog. How to set achievable goals, how to recover from setbacks. This is like perfect January, February. Giving up a bad habit, junk food, drinking, over-exercising, under-exercising, like all those different things that we do either little or excessive. And talk about how to kick that bad habit. How did you get off sugar? How did you restore your gut? How did you stop eating junk food? I always talk about the corn chips that just killed my stomach. So how did I give that up? It took time, and it took like really looking at what I was going to give up in my life and my health if I didn't get that up. Lose weight, get fit, rediscovering happiness and passion, learning new skills, new hobbies, all that just cool stuff that you can talk about. All right, so one thing is, before we get on to the next topic, and I want to take some questions and stuff like this first. So let me just,
What is it, piece, you know?
no idea. It would be in probably one of my purses.
That's right. Where is your purse?
Restore your gut. Okay, so I'm just going to look at some of the questions. So Lisa's saying, I don't know what I do. And I hear this from a lot of coaches, guys. Don't think, and for any of you, and I will drop even a link, because I will send a replay, and I'm going to actually send a workbook and a cheat sheet. For those of you who feel like you don't know what you do, I want you to shoot a video, or even be willing this week to come on. We're going to be doing hot seats, well, love seats, love you up seats in the membership, like every Friday in the free group. Membership is totally different. In the free group, just a person getting on and getting clear. Because when we did the niche course in here, there was such clarity. And I want this group to be one where, I'm actually good with this, it's fine. Thank you, babe. Where I want everyone to really get clear on what they're doing. Otherwise, and it's harsh, but it's like, it's time to then quit. And none of you should quit. You started this for a reason. And so getting clear on what you do, think about even basics. What are basics? And I want, for any of you, what are the things your friends are struggling with right now? Is it like, I hear from everyone. I come home at, this is why I laugh when coaches say, my clients aren't following the recipes. I'm like, your clients are busy and overwhelmed. Their kids get home, they have activities, they have work, they're fried. They want to order what? Pizza. They want to get takeout. They want to go through the drive-thru. So I want you to think about energy. Energy is a hot topic at any time. I want you to think about even what was your own story, because so often we don't know what to specialize in. I'm not saying to pick weight loss, because I hear that from every business coach, and it infuriates me when I hear that. What are you passionate about? What comes out of your pores when you're thinking about, what you want to share with the world? And that is the biggest thing. So yes, if you never touched the freebie, it's time to do that. And it's time to step out of the zone and say, you know what, I have this great gift, guys. For anyone who wants me, for anyone who wants it, personal message me. That's what I used to do. It doesn't even have to be a landing page. And you can say to people, I have this freebie all about energy, or these amazing chocolate recipes. You know, I mean, I look at the freebies that we have between the programs, and I think, how can somebody not make content? So big thing is it's getting the right mindset to believe in yourself that you have something valuable to say. And two, it's then also getting to a place where you feel that you can add value to even what that freebie is offering, or go take, if there's one with 7 steps, take 7 different days and talk about it. And I guarantee you, you will build a conversation. That's all marketing is about, whether it's online or offline. It's having a conversation. So I want you to think about looking at the programs that you have bought, and what did you resonate with that? How does that relate to your life? Write that down if you're really confused tonight. Number 2 is, do you have to be known for one thing? No, I wouldn't say you have to be known. I think that when we bop around though, and it doesn't make sense, that's where it gets confusing for people. So for example, if I were to talk about like autoimmune, I feel like autoimmune covers a lot. You can talk about the emotional side of that. You can talk about the physical side. You can talk about solutions. But I do think when we talk, it needs to be solution based, or it needs to be a story with a solution. So I don't think that we just have to be like known for just one thing, but we do have to be clear on like why we're doing this. So if you're kind of confused on like, what should I be known for? Ask yourself, why the hell am I doing this? I'm going to even put Scott on the spot. Why did I become a coach?
Well, you healed yourself first, and then after that, you helped everyone else. Like me.
But what was the deep, do you remember the deeper why?
Why, more than why you wanted to?
When we were in Jersey, and I said, I have to go to school because.
You needed to understand it. You needed to know.
I needed to know, and I also was shocked with how much I had done for myself, like pre-babies, and still how many issues our babies had. And I needed to know, why were kids getting worse? Why were these allergies getting worse? Why was cancer on the rise? Like, I wanted to know, because I was so irritated with the fact that I had always been like just told, here's this one solution, do this. This worked for all my clients. And that disempowerment that I felt enraged me. And I knew that there were people like myself, moms, women, before I met, you know, Scott, like single women anywhere in the world, people who felt alone and were not given their power back. And I thought, if I can just give somebody their power back to say, no, I actually need you to tell me why this is happening. I need you to retest. I need you to pull this. I need you, like, that I could arm them to be their advocate no matter where the hell they were in the world. And so when you think about those things that fire you up, that create passion, that make you, that raise the hair on your arm, that's who you are. It doesn't have to be confined into a box of, I only work with people with sugar issues, because sugar, just like anything else, if you're addicted to something, you have shame, you have guilt, you want to give up, you feel like, oh, this sucks, just like I felt the other day when I haven't been in the gym for, you know, the holidays, and I came in and I felt weak, and I was like, I'm going to quit. And you're like, no, you're not. That's what a coach does. So I want you to think about that. And if you're still confused, please tag under here so we can definitely get to every different person. Perfect. And look at an example that Sharon just said. You know, I needed to know how to get the weight off and keep it off. I tried Weight Watchers and long gym sessions, and it wasn't working. So I hate the word crack the code, because we see that always in marketing. And I like to unmarket. I like to talk from soul. But Sharon is a perfect example. Say, you know, look, this didn't work for me. That was really what I came out. I said, if you have been told that your gut was going, I'm only going to say heal in this because I'm in an orange state. And I don't like to say that word anyway. It opens up legalities and claims. If you think that you can heal your gut in X amount, you've been lied to. There are so many different components. Like, so think about what you felt was wrong, and then flip that. Just flip the script and say the opposite. Hi, Jackie. Low energy. Yeah. So think about when we're saying low energy is weight. We can't have a healthy metabolism without there being energy. Just like John Juilliard, remember guys, drop a 1 if you remember when John Juilliard said this. You need as much energy to wake up as you do need to sleep. If you're low on energy, low on L-carnitine, low in the mitochondria, leaky gut is running amok, nobody's going to lose weight. And you're just going to feel like this. And then we're going to crash. We're probably in adrenal fatigue. So that's why I say, think about where your clients are. Think about if they are, for those of you who are like, I can't sell this program. They might not be there yet because you have not connected the dots. That's what content planning does. It sets the stage for the story. And that's all social media is. And really, okay. Just looking at any other questions. Okay, give me a second to stop share. And then I want to just show you one other thing that we will be sending for those of you. I'm going to drop a link under, very simple link. We just have to have fun at night, something, you know. Got to always keep it interesting. All right, so here we're going to send like this report. So it's boost your marketing with these steps. So you really have kind of a step-by-step. What I suggest highly, like it talks about like what you're doing wrong. Right under there, hey, be honest. You know, we're going to close up with this. Be honest with yourself. Can you read these bottom ones? I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. Be honest, like what you're not doing, because business doesn't change. This is a business. I know most of us are empaths and healers and everything, and lovers and feelers, but you have to look at this as a business. You have to look at the money that's going out and the money that's coming in. And the way that I always operated, Scott, remember when I would say, oh my God, I just paid for this. I've got to make that up.
Oh yeah.
And that's my mode of operation.
Yes.
And so if I know that I'm buying something, like for those of you who have bought a program and never did anything with it, I guarantee if you said, I am doing a 3-hour workshop for $75, I know that's low, but you said $75 and 15 people can come, it's 1,125. Shame, shame, shame on the person who fell prey, because thank God we didn't have the money at that time for me to fall prey, because I do love those things. I'm a consumer, but I made sure that I was using cheap things like Eventbrite and using MailChimp. I mean, in the beginning, things don't have to be complicated. There's keep costs low, because that's business 101. So ask yourself also, where you're not showing up. Are you also in that burnout because you're just doing too much and not really thinking smart about what your content means and where it's leading them? How many of you drop a 2? Oh, thank you, Jackie. Drop a 2 if you have made the mistake where you're just overwhelming people with free stuff, but you're not showing up enough, telling who you are, telling people about your story, sharing from a place that helps people to what? Identify and to build trust. That's the biggest, that's sales. So you can either be a hard push sale, which most of us are not, or you can go what I call soul sales. You're sharing from your story. You're sharing from your heart. You're sharing from what hurt. You're sharing the pain that you see in the world.
The lessons you learn.
The lessons you learn. The things you wish were different. You're sharing your vision. One of my favorite copywriters, which is going to be on my soon-to-be podcast, Hillary Weiss, who was my first copywriter, she really taught me that, you know, people don't just buy from sales and marketing emails and stuff like that. They buy because they're buying a vision you have, because you're showing up and you're sharing it, and you're taking a chance to put yourself out there, which is scary. So you have to be honest in this inventory. And that's why we're doing this at the beginning. Where are you failing? And Scott will often say to me, don't be so hard on yourself. I say, I have to be hard on myself. Otherwise I won't be better. Like, I won't learn from what I didn't do. So think about in the deciding what you want to be known for. If you don't know that, if you don't know what you want to be known for, please drop under here, you know, totally confused. Totally confused, don't know what to, because we will work this out. And I would say, if you also are, you know, feeling just completely freaking overwhelmed, you know, degroup yourself. I just did that. I left like so many groups so that my Facebook announcement thing just lessened. And I also got support. You know, I got my mantra and my intention and on my vision board was to have like business besties, like women, no offense, honey, but women who were in similar situations, and we could all talk. That's the reason that I put the membership together. So for like $67, you can join the membership, and we are a community, and we're in there helping each other. If you feel really overwhelmed, there's no point continuing to feel overwhelmed.
You can support that.
Or make the decision that you're just going to continue to feel overwhelmed and not invest. Because I don't want you to end up like either cursing me in the middle of the night or anyone else you've bought a program for. Because many of you, like I said, you're 9 certifications deep and you've made zero money. Some of you have invested 25 to 50 to 75 to even 100 grand, because I've worked with some of you and still making no money. And I'm always like, we can keep the emails really simple. No, I'm going to hire a copywriter. Simplify. Stop keeping up with the Joneses. That's like, I'm saying it over and over. Stop keeping up with the Joneses. I didn't. And I remember my first big opportunity, Bernardo Mendez, who interviewed me. I said, I have a crappy website, which I did. It's crappy. And I crappy everything. And I said, what made you like interview me when you're interviewing people I looked up to? And he said, because your soul comes through your eyes. Like you speak from your heart. So start showing the realness in you. You know, fuck the Facebook ad. Like, stop spending money on the Facebook ad if it's not converting. Show up. Be real. Take a chance to walk into places. Get known locally as, you know, walk in like I did to one place and said, oh my God, I love your place. Remember the sandwich shop in Delray?
Yep.
I walked in, I was like, I love your place. You're like one of the healthy food places here. Would you be open to like letting me do a workshop? He was like, oh my God, that's such a killer idea. My wife and I opened this place, and his whole story just exploded. You have to take a chance. And that's what this year is all about. Because if not, you don't want to be in a situation where you either are now or you want to make a heck more lot of money. I don't even think that made sense.
I think it is.
But really change lives. It's changing lives that we're in the business of doing. And the money will come because you're going to own your power. You're going to clarify and define your prices. You're going to nail down discovery sessions and closing the goddamn deal because you believe in what you do. So we're going to be sending you this. And it's a little, you know, just book and everything. And then a little cheat sheet to kind of keep you a little organized. And I'm also going to send you just some ideas for what we think are really great, you know, next steps, and what are some of the things that I did in Rachel's Wellness, that were really successful and brought me tons of clients. Sure. Well, when you come here, you'll have to come and say hello. So I just want to thank you guys for, coming here tonight. I hope this was really helpful. I know content planning can be different. I thought, numerous times about, should we have like a calendar? Should we do a whiteboard? But then I thought, none of that matters unless you think about the foundation, and the foundation is everything. So don't jump to the next thing if you don't know what you're doing. Don't invest in something if you don't know why you're investing in it. And if you guys have any questions, pop under here. I'm going to make just a list for those who want to sign up to get, the workbook and the cheat sheet. And also, if you guys are interested in getting that support, I have amazing moderators in the membership. Mimi is also one of the head moderators, and she's I call her the content planning queen.
Hello, Mimi.
So there are tons of materials from how to content plan for the whole year, ideas, when to launch, when not to launch, when to list build, themes, how to build a Squarespace site, how to build a WordPress site with Elementor, blogging, social media, launching. I mean, discovery sessions is this month, workshops are next month, which could also be master classes. So you can go to yourhealthcoachbiz.com to the membership right there. You can do monthly, cancel at any time. But you got to get support to change the game. And if you don't, then sit down and take that time to really plan it out. Because if you don't, overwhelm is going to come, stagnation is going to come, and you're not going to do anything. And all of a sudden, it's going to be June, and then July, and then August. But then September comes out, the next New Year's. Woo, woo.
We'll do it all over again.
And so I want you to think about what is my April? Because that's your time to make money, and May, and then September, and October, and November. And so think about it. It may feel overwhelming. I pushed this away for years until I said, I'm done feeling just overwhelmed. And I know I don't appear that way because I launch and I launch consistently, but there can be a much easier, softer road without adrenal mayhem. And that really is my goal to teach everyone this year. So I love you guys. Thank you so much. I will be dropping a link under. Let me just make sure that I'm not missing anything. Dawn, thank you so much. I love you being in the membership. Totally love you. Sharon, I'm going to just say it right now. You best be getting in the membership, girl, because I'm going to kick your booty. And Dawn knows I kick people's booty with love, with a little omashante, and that little, You got to do that because I believe in you. So anyway, have a beautiful night, guys. Drop under here questions. I'll drop the link, as I said, and I hope that you have a killer, beautiful night. Bye, guys.
See you soon.